Hey, you guys, welcome back to another story time. Just story time, you guys. I'm going to go back in the bedroom. But you guys, go ahead before we get started. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned to you previous times before, it is what? Totally free. It won't blow your budget. Your account won't go in the negative by subscribing to the channel. Go ahead and share the video with friends and families. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And also, we load on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But going forward on next week on Mondays, you guys may or may not know, but on Mondays, we will be having story time. On Wednesday, it'll be the You Say What show. And then on Fridays, it'll be either vlogging or Ask Sherry for advice. So if you want to send me any type of questions that you may not want to put in the comments so that I'll see it, feel free to email me at ilovetogiggle2@gmail.com. You can send those. If you send your request in, your question in, send it before next Friday so I have a chance to review it, and then we'll do some content from there. If not, then I'll be vlogging on Fridays, you guys. So shout out to everyone that was able to view the You Say What video about Monique and DL, but we're gonna leave that alone, you guys. So today I kind of have, it's a serious topic or whatever. Well, it's a serious story that took place with me when I was about 16 years old, you guys. And so I tried to commit suicide. I don't think, maybe Tracy may know about this. God, I hope Tracy knows about this and doesn't find out about this on this story time. That would be tragic. But let me tell you what was going on with me at 16 years old. You know, I did a lot of stories about Tracy. Actually, getting into it with Bear, running down the street, cuckleberries in her head, all of those different things that happened with Tracy. And I have not told a whole lot of stories about myself personally that happened with Bear. So it was just a whole lot. A lot of things that were done to me because I was so vocal, being a teenager, that a lot of things, even then, but a lot of things that were done to me physically would be considered abuse. It really would. But in that day and era, you guys, it wasn't a lot of advocacy, I guess I would say, for kids, or we didn't know, like, I'll call 241 kids on you or something like that. Those type of things never crossed your mind. A lot of things that happened were stayed inside of your own home, which is a disadvantage and an advantage on some areas, especially in certain communities. And I would have to say, especially in the African American community, because we are advocates, and I've heard it from me growing up, and what goes on in my house, what stays in my house. So I won't give all details of things that was done to me, but physical wise, by my dad, who I do consider to be who is abusive. But it wasn't just a whole lot of advocacy for things like that. So this particular time that really just brought everything to a final decision of mine is we moved from place to place. I think I shared that with you guys before, but we moved from place to place. We would stay for maybe like 3 months. He wouldn't pay the rent, then we would be evicted, and then we would find ourselves living with my brother. Remember the dog that jumped on Wendell's back? So we end up living with Wendell. The last time we lived with Wendell, and my mom made my dad get rid of the dog. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go back and watch some of the other videos. But those that's been with me for a while know the story that I'm referring to. So after that, you guys, we moved to another house. So we finally found this house. It was great. It was wonderful. But one of the things, well, it was great and wonderful that we found a place to live because we wasn't piled on top of Wendell. But in the process of that, we lost everything that we had from the previous place that we stayed, which was the home that we stayed in that was supposed to be like 2 different apartments, but we had the entire house. So you figure if you had 3 floors, then that's a lot of furniture, and our stuff went into storage. Well, if you didn't pay the rent, then of course there's financial issues, and you're more than likely not going to pay the storage. So I don't know honestly how long we stayed with Wendell, but we stayed with Wendell in a 1-bedroom. So by the time we moved to the other home, which was a one, two. I think that one was a 3-bedroom. Then there was like, we didn't have any furniture. It was over because he had lost the stuff that was in the storage thing. So we're talking about beds. We're talking about my mom's knickknacks that she had that she used to just dust off. You know, that was her thing, was figurines and little knickknacks and decorations and things like that. So we lost all of that. So the only thing that I had personally were my clothes that I took over Windows house, because anything that went in that storage in that day, I don't know how they do it now. And if you don't pay that, they will auction your stuff off. So where that stuff went, my mother's beautiful living room suit that she had, the living room that you couldn't go in, her little coffee tables and all of that, dresser drawers, gone. Gone, gone, and gone, honey. So we're in this house with nothing. Even the washer and dryer was gone. Everything was gone. And so we had to make pallets on the floor. Now, the rug that was in that house was like that old, if you ever seen any of these local thrift stores, and they have like rolled up rugs that have like this twine tied around it. It was like that type of rug. So it wasn't good carpeting. It was that shaggy stuff that just like itches the crap out of your skin. So the house had that type of carpeting in it, which wasn't, it was very, very cheap. And it wasn't like it had super thick padding underneath. So we found ourselves sleeping on the floor. But guess what? We ain't hardly got no blankets. So I don't know if he came up with some blankets. I don't remember the whole thing of that, but I don't know. We maybe had one blanket each, and we're making pallets on the floor. So we didn't have a sleeping bag. We didn't have pillows. So what I used for a pillow was I would take my clothes and pile them up, and you honey, put your head there, cricket, and you hash it out. So we're on the floor, and my mom and dad, I want to say they were sleeping on the floor too, but then as time went on, Baron got him and my mom a bed, but the kids didn't have a bed, and we didn't have no family discussion when we was gonna get a bed, and it wasn't no time frame said when we were going to get a bed. So I'm getting up every morning, honey, body hurting from sleeping on the floor. I don't care how comfortable or how padded you try to make a floor feel. A floor is just a floor, you guys. And after a while, your hips start hurting, your side is hurting, you're not getting the best of a rest and all of these things. But he didn't want us to tell anybody anything. So I got tired of being on the floor, and I decided to call my grandmother, Granny, the one that was coming to town. Now, my grandmother to me was rich, but I found out later they were just like upper middle class. But to me, it was rich. My interpretation of being rich, and I don't know what you guys' interpretation of being rich is, but my interpretation of being rich is having a variety of food, being able to go in the fridge. You guys, I told you we ate beans all the time. Going to the refrigerator, you can have cereal, you can have chicken, you can have corned beef hash, you can have grits. That to me is considered to be rich, to have a variety of food. Being rich to me is having more than one pair of shoes. Being rich to me is having a closet where you can have a variety of outfits. Just being able to come on here with a different t-shirt on each time I do a program, with you guys, to me is being rich. So I consider my grandmother to be rich. So I was like, I'm gonna call my grandmother. Now, pause there. What I didn't know was that my mother had talked to her mom and talked to her sister. Now, that really was a no-no. Let me go back, because my parents, remember, were Jehovah's Witnesses. And so we did not associate with anyone that was not in that same religion, and you did not befriend anybody that was really not in that same religion. So because my grandmother and them were Pentecostal, my mom had disconnected herself for a while from my grandmother and her sisters. But what she would do was, when we did have a telephone, or she had the opportunity to get to a payphone, she would call her mom behind Baron's back to talk to her. Hey, mom, okay, whatever they talked about. So I didn't know that my mom had talked to my grandmother on my mom's side, her mom, and told her about the situation. Now, my grandmother, they were business owners, like of a flower shop, but they were not as what I considered rich to be like my grandmother, my dad's mom in Indianapolis. So the most that she could do for my mom was just pray her through. She did not have the finances to do it. But I knew my grandmother in Indianapolis had the finances. But unbeknownst to me, I didn't know they had that conversation. So I go to the telephone booth and I call my grandmother. And I said, hey, Granny, called her collect because I ain't got no money. Called her, hey, Granny, how you doing? Fine. Hey, baby. Da, 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 da. We just talking and yicking and yakking. How's it going? It's going pretty good. Y'all eating down there? That's what she was saying. Yeah, we eating. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm thinking like, I want some cereal, I want some this, I want some that, and I'm naming all stuff that I want some fruit roll-ups. I'm naming stuff to her that I want her to send, to send me, because she would send packages on a trailway, but on a Greyhound bus down to us. And she was like, okay, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna send a box down there and I'm gonna put some of those stuff in there. I'm like, okay, send some Keebler's Fudge Stripe cookies. I'm naming stuff because I know she's gonna do it. And she's going to put in there some money for Bear, and she's gonna put in the envelope some money for all the kids. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I got some money coming in a couple of weeks. And she was like, oh, everything okay? I got y'all new place to stay. And I said, yeah, but we're sleeping on the floor. Ooh, Let me tell you something about Maddie Howard, baby. Maddie had, no, that was a no. No. She was like, you ain't got no beds. You ain't got no beds. I said, no, we don't got no beds. I said, but I think you're going to get some bed. I just don't know where. She was like, y'all sleeping where? I said, we sleep on the floor. Y'all sleeping on the floor? I said, yeah, we sleeping on the floor. Well, what happened to the stuff? I said, I don't know what happened to the stuff. We must have lost it or whatever. Oh, no. Okay. So me and your granddaddy going to be down there this week, and we're going to bring y'all some beds. And I'm like, okay. She was like, who all needs bed? So I told her, me, Tracy, JoJo, we need beds. And she was like, what about your dad? I said, no, they don't need no beds. She said, okay, we're going to get y'all some beds and some box springs in the frames. And me and your granddaddy going to be down there this weekend. And so I said, okay, well, you can't tell Bear. She was like, no, just tell Bear to call me. And so Bear, I went home and I told Bear, hey, Granny wants you to call her. And he was like, okay then. So when he did call her, she was just like, yeah, me and your granddaddy gonna come down there, woo, woo, woo. Didn't tell him she was bringing beds. And I'm thinking, great, we about to get some beds. Baby, that thing went left. Let me tell you something about pride, honey. You got to learn. And I had to bite my pride years later as I began to have children. I needed help in certain areas where, sometimes I had enough money to maybe only buy one kid a coat. But I had to bite my pride, swallow my pride, and ask somebody. I asked Tracy, would you help me buy one of the kids' coats? And she was like, yeah, because Tracy didn't have any kids at that time. And she still only just has one daughter, but I'm the one with the multiple kids. So I'm in a struggle train, honey. So I had to bite my pride. But something about pride, honey, would just you're either going to humble yourself and ask somebody for some help, or you're going to get angry because somebody know you need some help. So here comes Saturday. My grandma pulled up, my granddaddy and grandma pulled up, baby. They got a whole entire U-Haul thing hitched to the back of that car. I said, oh my God. I'm excited. I ain't thinking nothing about it. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm trying to get up off the floor. I know you ain't got no money, and this really should bring you financial relief. So when you do get some money, Baron, you ain't got to go buy no beds, and you ain't got to, you got to get 3 beds. That's expensive. Baby, my grandmama pulled up, baby, with 3 twin-size beds, honey. They was brand spanking new. They were from no thrift store, because she ain't go to no thrift store. So, honey, they was brand spanking new. And when they got up out the car, honey, my granddaddy had a cigarette in his mouth. Now, mind you, my granddaddy, he had stopped smoking like for years, and then he'll pick it back up. But if you stressed him, he was going to smoke. He got out, honey, right there. Big old black man, 6'2", honey. Hat on his head, looking like Larry Fishburne hat when he was in Just Cause with Sean Connery. Honey, he had the hat on, his linen shirt and his T-shirt up underneath, honey. Get out, I gotta tell your dad to come out here and help me with these matches. So Bear come outside and his face is twisted. Why are you mad? So I'm thinking, my stomach dropped when I seen his face. I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. I said, God, dog. So he was like, what's this? These the beds. You don't have them kids sleeping on the daggone floor. Da, da, da. Now, my granddaddy didn't hold his tongue. Now, my grandmother wouldn't say nothing. Well, we just want to help you out. My granddaddy be like, you shifty Negro. You got these kids. You need to get yourself together. Da, da, da. That was my granddaddy. And my daddy, now, somebody that will humble my daddy down was my granddaddy. Oh, my granddaddy would give him the biz naive, honey. And my daddy didn't say one mumbling word. Now, you caught the business when he left because he done hurt your feelings and he done showed out on you in front of them kids. But, honey, my granddaddy was good for calling you a shifty Negro if he felt like you was a shifty Negro. So he was like, you need to get yourself together. Quit moving these kids around. Let them get settled somewhere. You got your wife seasickly. Let her get somewhere and be able to sit down and enjoy themselves. You shifty Negro. And he was letting him have it. But they hauling that stuff in there, so we get the beds all in the house. Baby, so my grandmama and them had went, but they brought some food with them too, brought all my little snacks, gave us some little money for they left. Baby, it was, that night it was popping. How they know we ain't had no beds? Child, you would have thought I was a church lady at church. You put the finger up and get up out of here. So I'm thinking he automatically gonna know it's me. That's what I was thinking. He automatically gonna know it's me. He didn't even think it was me, y'all. He went straight for my mama. Now, her nickname was Nell. Nell, I know you told her. You told somebody about this situation. Honey, my mama was like, I told my mama. She was like, but my mama ain't tell your mother. Yes, you did. Da-da-da. And this man, y'all, argued from that Saturday night until about the wee hours of Sunday morning. And my mother, excuse me, mind you, is sickly. Can't get no rest because this fool is on a tirade. Honey, she was like, look, my mama got your mama phone number. But they don't talk like that. They probably, they respect each other. They never talk to each other, but they had each other's phone number just in case something may happen. But I've never heard of them having a conversation. She was like, why would my mother call your mother? She said, if I did call my mama and tell her the situation, I wasn't asking her for no help. I was telling her the situation. She was like, but she didn't call your mama and tell your mama that. So he kept going on. Y'all, he went on for about the span of 2 days. And he had my mother in tears. And by this time, I said, nah, man, I'm just going to go on and admit it. So when he was get to arguing, I went up there. I said, I told her. I said, I called her on the phone, and I told her what was going on. I said, I got tired of sleeping. Why would you tell her? I got tired of sleeping on the floor. That floor hurts. We all hurting sleeping on the floor. And you didn't have the money to do it. Chad, let me drink my water. Baby. Call me Kuta Kinte, baby. Because I got my butt royally beat for that one. I got in trouble. Chad, I don't know during the span of that week how many times I got a whooping. I think every time that fool thought about that, I got another whooping. And you don't call your grandmama no more. You don't say nothing to her. Now that right there beat me, but don't tell me I can't call her. Beat me to death, I don't care, but don't tell me you can't call her. So he said I couldn't call her, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, so I was like, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this whole life. I'm tired of, I don't have no clothes. I ain't got the best of clothes, no how, but now I got a bag full of clothes. I'm tired of coming home and you yelling. I'm tired of, if you walk past me, I'm going to get knocked across the head. I got tired of it, y'all. I was like, I'm just about to kill myself. I'm just about to kill myself. So now I'm thinking, what am I going to take? We ain't got no gun because we ain't got no money. I ain't going to knife myself up because that ain't just it. I was like, I'm just going to take some pills, you guys, and that's going to be it. I'm going to close my eyes on this bed and go to sleep. And so I knew I couldn't get my mother's pills because my mother didn't go nowhere, you guys. Only place she would go is when she would go to the dialysis. But whenever she went to the dialysis, she kept her pills with her. So I'm like, what pills am I going to have? And I remember having some pills that my friends and them gave me from school. Now, the pills that they gave me, y'all, now mind you, if I showed y'all pictures of me back in the day, I was skinny as heck. My head was super big. Now my head don't look big because my body matches it. But my head was super big. My neck was skinny. I was skinny as heck. And my stomach was flat. But we were taking, diet Docalex, or Diurex. They're water pills. I don't know which one. It ain't Docalex. That's some Diurex. We were taking Diurex water pills to get water off us because somebody told somebody that if you take these water pills, it help you lose weight. I don't know what it was. They just said to take these Diurex and it'll help you, lose weight or whatever. Didn't know it was a water pill till like a little bit later. So I was like, I got that little packet of pills. So you know how you get the, like, we would split the box. So we had like, you know how you get the two little square things in there and they got the little foil on the back and you pop the little pill out. So I had one of those. I said, I'm about to just take all of these pills and I'm gonna sit on my bed and I'm just gonna completely close my eyes, and then when I close my eyes it's just gonna be over, and you ain't got to argue about me, you ain't got to worry about me, you ain't got to beat me no more, and you can have this funky bed because I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna die on this bed. And so I went and I popped all them pills out of there, y'all. I don't know how many it was. It probably 9 of them, because it was like 3 went across, 3 went down. It was like 9 of them. I took all 9, I went in the bathroom, I sucked down some water, and I sat on the bed and I waited for it to happen. And nothing really happened. And then I said, okay, well, let me lay down. Maybe if I lay down, it'll take place a little bit. And I just kind of laid down, just kind of cried in the process or whatever. And me and Tracy shared a room. Tracy wasn't there, but I kind of looked over at her bed or whatever and was just like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, nobody gets in trouble hardly. Tracy got in trouble, but it was far and in between. But it seemed like every single week I was in trouble. I was like the hitman, the one like, what did I do? Like, do you not like me? Like, what the heck? Like, all I did was tell her we needed beds. I thought I was helping you out. Well, I'm helping myself out, but God dog, is it that serious? Not knowing years later it was your pride. I didn't know nothing about all of that different stuff. I just know, why is you so freaking pissed? So, honey, I laid there and I finally dozed off to sleep. But then I woke up a couple of hours later. My stomach cramped a little bit. That was it, y'all. And I peed. I don't know how much I used the bathroom. I just kept going to the bathroom and going through the bathroom and going to the bathroom. I don't know if I lost weight or not. I said, my God, this is ridiculous, y'all. But I did. I attempted to commit suicide because I got tired of just constantly getting in trouble for the smallest thing, you guys. So I sympathize with those that have lost family members to suicide. I understand when children try to attempt suicide or either have committed suicide. And I know sometimes as an adult, people have said, what kids committing suicide for? They ain't got no kids, ain't got no problems. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They be like, they don't do nothing, all they do is sleep, eat, and they ain't got no bills. It's more than that. Because sometimes you can have mental turmoil. You don't know what's going on behind somebody's closed door. You don't know what people's tolerance level is. You don't know what each person, everybody has a threshold. Like, your threshold may be like here. Somebody's threshold may be higher than yours, but everybody has a threshold and everybody has a breaking point where they're just like, I can't do it. And I had, in those 16 years, endured a whole lot and had been through a whole lot, and didn't have anything steady or stable. And it wasn't a great childhood, to be honest, in 16 years. And this is just the years that I could remember, not talking about 5, 6, 7. Some of that stuff I don't remember, but as my teen years, it wasn't that great. It really wasn't. And so after that, I kind of dealt with depression or what have you, and going to school smiling, giggling, laughing. You can ask anybody that knows me. They be like, oh, Sherry's so silly, she's so funny. But a lot of that was a coping mechanism for me, because I knew when I went home there was nothing funny. It wasn't nothing funny when I went home. But if I can go out and have all the fun, all the laughter that I can have at school or wherever I was, then that would build me, boost me up enough, and give me enough to deal with what I was going to face when I got home for whatever hours that I was at home. And the weekends wasn't the greatest because I ain't want to be in the house. Wasn't nowhere to go. We ain't had no money. I ain't want to be in the house. And 48 hours sitting in that house with a tyrant is a long time. Doesn't seem 48 hours doesn't seem that long. 48 hours is a long time. And the minutes tick by. So guys, that's my story time and it didn't work. It didn't work, but I definitely sympathize with those that have either contemplated it. I know several people that contemplated, like seriously, not contemplated. I know some that contemplated, and I know one that tried it and almost was like this close to losing her life. So that right there is, honey, I wasn't crying or nothing. My nose was running. You guys, so that is my story time today. So be conscious of those that's around you. That's why I have such a love for young people, because I know they're in some stressful situations. It could be anything that can take them over that edge. But that's my story time for today, you guys. And so, as I mentioned, Monday, it'll be another story time. We'll have a high time on Monday, you guys. But you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm trying to think. Is today Friday? Y'all, I'm filming this on Thursday. I thought today was Friday. Oh, my God. Child, I'm ahead of the game. I hope y'all watch this to the end. Tell me if you watch this to the end, y'all. I'm thinking it's Friday. It's freaking Thursday. Child, well, whatever. I'm ahead of the game, you guys, and I guess I'll go ahead and do another story time. Get it bashed up for Monday since I'm ahead. Have a great weekend when it get here.